Will it eventually end up being a full-scale, if you will, war?
Well, let's put it into perspective, Joe. This $50 billion that they're talking about amounts to about 0.3% of our GDP. So it's hardly a life-threatening activity. It's relatively proportionate to the tariffs that we put on based on the intellectual property. But I think the more important thing is the tone of the president's tweet earlier this morning. As you know, he said in the tweet, and I agree, when you're 500 billion down, this isn't a war you can lose if it gets to be a war. We have had a big problem with trade deficit for a long, long time. Several presidents got us into this big deficit. This is the president who's going to get us out of it. He's determined to go forward, and this response should not have really surprised anyone. Their response to the 232 tariffs was quite proportionate to the 232 amount. The response here is also quite proportionate to the $50 billion that we announced last night. So I'm frankly a little surprised that Wall Street was so surprised by it. This has been telegraphed for days and weeks.
Wilbur, do you see when it's proposed for the end of May or so, by that time, do you see both sides implementing these, or in the meantime, is there going to be negotiations where there's some favorable outcome for the United States? And I guess China would have to save face as well. Is that what you hope happens and what the president hope happens? And what would that look like? What would we need to come to some type of agreement or negotiated settlement?
Well, think about it. Even shooting wars end with negotiations. Somebody signs a treaty with someone else. It has whatever terms it has. So it wouldn't be surprising at all if the net outcome of all this is some sort of a negotiation. Whether that happens by May or it happens at some other time, that's another whole question. I think it's very difficult to put a specific time denomination on negotiations that are as complex as these. Remember, we had some 1,200 products. Their list, which I haven't seen yet in English, I think has 1,300 products. That's 2,500 products to talk about. But in terms of the content of them, I don't think there was really anything surprising if you look at their own commentaries, if you look at what they had said. So this should not be a great shock to anyone. I don't think anybody expected that China would do nothing in response to our initiative.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.